It feels like being in paradise. Here, there is straw and clay. Here, there are recycled bottles set inside to create light. By being more self-sufficient, I need less money.
What is it like when you leave the house and see this view?
It is beautiful because every day is a different painting.
Imagine a world in harmony with nature, with others, and with ourselves. A world where people are nourished by diversity and beauty. Do you believe it can exist? Utopia, discovering dreams that are reality.
Today, my friends, we are not in the Dipolo. We are in the middle of the Tyrian Sea, and we are heading to an island to tell a new story. So here we are, just arrived. The exit is right there. Hey, there she is. Hi.
Hi, Bernardo. Welcome.
How are you?
Despite the wind.
How long have you been to drive?
35 minutes.
35 minutes. Good, guys.
We're
An
doing the
experience.
Votoraio, which is a special road here that goes up a mountain. And there is the old castle.
A beautiful trip awaits us, and we will document it for you. But now we're doing the full experience.
Come on.
My friends, here we have the second experience. A circus like no other. Should we straight back up? We have arrived. Hi.
Hi, Bernardo.
First of all, what's your name?
Silvia.
Where are we, Silvia?
We are in Ortano on Elba Island, in the eastern part of the island.
And your home's right?
Yes,
My first question, when did you arrive? How long have you lived here?
I have lived here for about 5.5 years, but I had already lived here from 1999 to 2008.
When you arrived, what was the area like?
Let's say it was much more barren here. Now there are more plants because I do not clear the brush. I only cut plants to make room for other plants. So there is a kind of protection of the land, of the plants. That little house was basically 4 walls with no roof.
What do we see behind you?
So behind me we see the islet of Ortano. And behind it, way in the distance, now it's hazy, but there is Gajilio Island. And,
What is this?
oh well, it's lost its roof, but this is a pedal-powered mill.
Meaning?
So it's a pedal-powered mill, but it needs to be restored because it was all underwater.
And how
So-
does it work? Sorry.
It works like this. It is tandem. 2 people pedal, and the millstone goes here, which I have taken apart now, the hopper. Inside here, there's the millstone, the stone that turns, and as you pedal, it makes flour. I did a long search to find a pedal-powered one because I'm always looking for a way to do things without electricity. I'll show you where I put the trees. This here is for water recovery. The gray water from the house, always to respect water. Because I thought, why should we use water and make it dirty for nature? So this can also be used to water the trees.
So basically, it's a small biomeditation
Yes.
system. Listen, what's your story? What pushed you to come live here?
I have always been searching for what is essential, for consistency and for a connection with nature. And so having this piece of land in this house, which luckily somehow came to me, I thought it could be a place where I could truly put into practice through actions, through concrete things, something people like to talk about in theory, right? Connection with nature is not just meditating, it's also in practice, really thinking about the impact you have with what you use. Like, what water do you use? What food do you buy? Where does the wastewater go? Asking yourself these questions. How do you treat the trees? I mean, and so I tried. You have to try.
And where were you born? What did you do in your past life?
I was born in Prato, but let's say I have always felt like I was searching for a little place where I belonged. I have a very dramatic story, which I then turned into the gift in my life. My mother chose to leave my life when I was little, so for me it was like a shock, but then my whole life became a search, and it's thanks to her I am who I am. It's thanks to her I have the strength to live because she chose the other side. And so, as if I accepted her choice, as if I loved her anyway, after a long journey, you know. Also of anger, of frustration. So the issue of abandonment also made me truly experience chosen solitude and say, okay, I can manage. I can manage to be alone. Can I do it? Yes, I can. And precisely because I can be alone, I actually realize that I am not alone. Because, of course, all this nature is here. And so I feel like welcoming people and saying, okay, you can come here too. Come share with me. Come share nature. Come share in the beauty. I tried to do normal things, like looking for a normal, secure job, but it wasn't for me. I mean, I've always been someone who, made choices that were a little strange, in quotation marks. Manual work. For a while, I worked as a restorer in Umbria. Then I worked with clay. I also worked as a street cleaner here.
Did you buy this house?
I bought this house at the time when I had this son, a partner, and we were together. Everything happened very quickly. I met him, we had a child right away, and in this city with this little baby, I felt like I was suffocating. So I had this inheritance from my dad, my dad's house in Preto. I sold my dad's house, and we managed to buy this house, but only a small part is mine. The other part belongs to a neighbor. So there is also the challenge. I always remain on this boundary, right? Which still means dealing with what is different with something different. So the experimentation here is very hard on one side, but soft on the other. So I want to go live in a little house where everything will be super essential, but I also leave the possibility for anyone who wants, in the house where I live now, to have a few small comforts. When I chose it, I was also with my partner, our 2-year-old child, and a dog. So we really wanted to get out of the city. We fell in love with the view, with the fact that the beach is a 15-minute walk away. So it's just too beautiful.
Where are you with your self-sufficiency from every point of view?
Well, I'm at the point where I gather a lot of wild herbs. Because with cultivation, I'm using an experimental method of elementary agriculture, which I have some trouble with, especially because of the pine trees. But I will always try. So every summer, I often manage to get something. But more than anything, I try to take as much as I can from what nature offers me. So the wild plants. And
you were also telling me about exchanging.
Yes, I do a lot of exchanging.
An example?
Because there are people here who have lemons, and I use a lot of lemons in my water in the morning. Now, for a few months, I have had 5,000 liters of rainwater. And that makes me really happy because it was something I wanted to do. But there is still more to do. On the water thing, I also want to try collecting water from the air. So actually collecting drops of dew.
Does the casino have electricity or not?
No, everything in Casino will run on solar power or small wind power. Everything will be done with the sun and the wind.
And then I imagine heating with wood.
Yes. So here we have other fruit trees. The apple tree and the almond tree. And then there's a little vegetable garden that I sometimes make. But it basically waters itself with this ancient method of putting ceramic jars full of water and putting them underground.
How does
So
it
you
work?
So basically, we buy a small jar. We get a small jar in one of those ceramic shops. Then it would be nice to make it yourself. But
You can't do
you could dig a
everything.
nice hole. And you put it here. Then I put a kind of mosquito netting to keep insects from getting in it. And you keep it full of water all the time. And then that way, the terracotta slowly releases the moisture that then all the plants that are around it then absorb.
So you plant not inside it, but next to it.
Yes.
And does it work?
Yes. This year I basically pulled it off. Here with the chili peppers, tomatoes, I basically watered nothing.
But how would you describe life here to someone watching the video?
It feels a little like being in paradise. A little, yeah. Then, of course, there's always the things of normal life that bring you back a little. But it's right that way. I mean, having this ability to carve out moments of beauty, while also knowing that everything else exists. That's not that you carve out these moments and live in a world apart. You live in a world of beauty, of experience, of connection. But you also deal with normal life. So it's always about staying in this balance, right? But here you recover. Here you recover. All you have to do is go down to the sea for a moment. All you have to do is observe a tree. All you have to do is sit in meditation or do something with the earth, too. Plant a tree. I still have more to plant here. I really hope to plant more of them. So this structure was built from an old ruin that had 4 walls, which used to kind of be an animal shed in the old days. It's a place where I want to spend a lot of time. I want to live here for a long time in simplicity. So we disconnected from utilities, water, electricity, using instead, precisely, the sun and rainwater. We did a lot of things with bottles, including the floor.
Actually, I was going to ask you, what are these materials? Here are the straw and clay.
So here, there is straw and clay. Just think, for the 2.5 years, it took water, wind, everything, and it's still strong. You just need to give it another layer of clay to make it a bit stronger. And here are the recycled bottles embedded inside to create light. And these are recycled windows they were throwing away. To insulate the floor, we used bottles. So there's a whole layer of bottles.
And why bottles?
Because bottles provide insulation. They provide insulation, and here it is all rammed in the earth. You take the earth, wet it, and ram it down. And then you can put a floor on top of it now.
And so this then, oh, it's nice, see?
Yes, there is a little terrace to really enjoy the view from above.
How beautiful.
And here, then I might put a bed or something like that. But here, I really want to live in simplicity.
And what can we see over there?
Well, here there'll be, let's say, a relaxation area, and that is a tub.
So there will be a tub here?
The tub is already here. It heats up and hot water comes out. Outside, there is a pit. These are all fire bricks.
This?
There is a channel underneath that heats up when you put wood in. So you make a fire underneath, and the pool heats up, and the water gets hot. Right after we made it, we used it more than once. And also with a friend who came over. It was wonderful. We didn't want to get out.
What we see here is all made from reclaimed and
Yeah.
natural materials. Because I
Yes.
see a lot of earth and...
Yes, there is a lot of earth and straw, and these beams here are all reclaimed too. Keep in mind, it was 4 walls. This arch was not even here. I mean, really, there was nothing. There was not even a roof, nothing at all.
And what are the next jobs you'll do here?
So they're closing up the French doors because with the wind, everything always falls down. And then insulating this veranda and the roof up there where water still comes in because some cracks have formed. So insulation and these kinds of things.
We'll come back here when she has finished, and we will
Yes.
move in here. And yeah, all right.
Yeah, all right.
And you'll leave because we'll move in here.
I'm going for a walk.
But the day you finish, you'll say, oh, and not because you'll arrive.
All right, Bernardo. This is a solar shower because this year my boiler basically broke. Then I put in another one. I'd been left without hot water, and I said, all right, let's make use of the sun. And so we put in this
Turned out to
solar
be
shower,
convenient.
and it turned out
How does it work?
It works like this. Here, this dark part here heats up the water. The water basically heats up with the sun. And then here is the faucet.
I imagine you use it mostly in spring and summer.
This one is better to use in the summer.
I imagine in winter,
Oh, in winter you need...
Courage.
Yeah.
someone would do it, not me.
Yeah, I have not done it in winter, but I have swum in the seas, so
More or less, I think.
we're about there.
This here, what is this?
This is a rainwater tank that I managed to collect because we have fixed up the little roof that also catches water from the roof, from this side of the roof here. And so, with this year's rains, it's bursting. 5,000 liters.
And how do you use this?
Right now, I use it in the toilet so I don't waste it because at least I use the water that I do not take from the water supply. But then I would like to connect it to the house. In fact, I bought a hand pump that will pump to the tank that'll be placed up high back here behind Gemma, behind the house. And it will fill about 300 liters, which will last me a few days. So from that tank to the other tank, which will then bring water into the little house by gravity.
What is it like when you leave the house and see this
It
view?
is beautiful because every day is a different painting, depending on the sunlight, whether there are clouds, whether there is wind. Like now, the sea changes. When the sun is out in the morning, it becomes a mirror of light, if you look at it. I mean, an incredible energy comes through.
What is your relationship with nature?
My relationship with nature is to always thank the spirit of the place.
So where are we going in here?
Well,
What
so
should
this
we be prepared for? Tell us what we should be prepared for.
You should be prepared to see the little house I transformed. This house, well, maybe a summer vacation house? Maybe 1950s style? Transformed into my little kingdom where right now I host people until I move over there. And this becomes the permanent place where people will stay who want to spend a period having experiences all around.
I saw a spider and I can only say, let us get ready. All right. So what can we see here?
Here we can see a first little loft for guests where they can sleep. This is a full-size bed with the mattress I just bought. And
This is an invitation to say, come, in my opinion.
Yes.
This brand new mattress is like saying, come. Do you confirm?
I confirm. Yeah.
And then this stove here, is this a stove?
This is the wood stove, of course, which gives off a lot of heat. So even if you do come in the winter, do not worry, you won't suffer from the cold.
A double invitation. She's invited you to come in winter too. Whenever you want to come, come. This is one of those houses. How big is it? How big would it
Must be
be?
about 50 square meters.
But it's so beautiful. It's full of things. One of those truly, but whenever you turn, you say, this is beautiful, but this is beautiful. But this, really, congratulations. So,
Thank you.
what is this here? I imagine this is the princess.
Yes, this is priceless. Before, there was a fireplace here, but it did not give up this much heat. This was given to me as a gift. Where I worked for a while, they had to get rid of it. This is a small work of art, a three-dimensional little picture that I made. Here we have another little cabinet I made, a dish rack, all recycled material. Here, with the guest, I made this couch that turns into a bed, like in campers.
So, how much do you live on per month? How much can you live on per month?
Well, look, I'm not someone who's good with numbers. But right now, I have to tell you that I am getting by on very little. Really very little. Maybe 300 euros? Maybe a little more. It depends on the expenses. Sometimes, well, it's not always the same.
How can people find you?
I have a page called Casina al Elba, Permanent Enemies de Revolution Center. And my phone number is there, too. Also, right now, there is a crowdfunding campaign going on. And so on the Casina page, you can also find the link and everything in that page. In any case, I am rightly doing a lot of promotion, precisely for the possibility of expanding the place, to have a cellar, to have another space where I can make bread indoors instead of outdoors, to have more land.
And now, the most beautiful part. For me, it's the most beautiful part of the house. Something I've never seen, which is the rocking bed. You have to explain this to me. I've never seen a rocking bed. Where did the idea come from, and how did you, a rocking bed is genius.
Well, I
picture you
thought of
falling
it.
asleep while rocking.
Yeah. And then I had also put these little bells, these koshi, at the beginning on the corners. So I would rock, and then there was this heavenly sound
I'm
of
getting
koshi.
sleepy. Just the image of rocking with the bells.
Yeah. Well, then I had to remove the bells because a friend of mine, a guest, was bothered by
Because
them.
at night it stars. She said, damn,
"Damn,
boobs, Silvia,
Silvia!"
boobs.
And so sleeping on a hanging bed was a dream. It was an idea that had come to me. I found a man who had the same idea. And so he said, we have to make it. We had the same idea. Like, you too? Me too. Come on, we have to make this bed. I had these beams that we used. The ones from the old canopy that was outside, which now will have to be redone. We got to work. I made a sketch, and the way the sketch was exactly how we made it. I have a jigsaw that my sister gave me because they know that I do all of these things. So the people who care about me sometimes give me wonderful gifts. And with that jigsaw, plus with a bit of hand sawing, plus the angle grinder for cleaning, which I also bought, we managed to make it.
You were telling me that most things we see are recycled, right?
They're all recycled things. The shelves, I made those too. They are suspended. The wood I found here to make this couch that opens up into a bed is recycled.
In these 5 years here, what have you learned most about yourself? Not practical things. Things where you say, damn, I did great. And when you look back and say, see? These realizations that these 5 years of experience here have given you.
Being afraid to spend the little money you may have put aside or that you had to make something happen. But then you end up with no money and say, how did I do this? I don't have a secure job. I have nothing. So there really was this step where I said, if things are meant to be, they will come. You have the potential to give, so you have the potential to receive. The moment you enter this logic, that everything is a cycle, if you give, you receive something. And so why should you be afraid of losing money? Which I need, by the way, because the money I used, I also used precisely to build that gemma. to buy the trees, to buy the things here, the new mattresses, things that were getting ruined or that needed to be replaced. I had to do it. And so I had this trust. I found trust again in abundance, which is really something that clearly I had to face. Right now, that is how it is.
What is your relationship with money here?
Here, my relationship with money is always evolving, as I told you. Now I have run dry, so I've gone back, let us say, to the idea of giving what I have from my own experience. So the bread is really appreciated, and I have a small group of people who buy my bread and my scachata. I give shamanic yoga lessons, then creating more and more self-sufficiency here. So by having more self-sufficiency, I need less money.
What do people, friends from the past, think of this lifestyle of yours?
I have always been a strange one, so I think they appreciate it. Also because of the dramatic event that I talked about earlier. So the fact that many people who knew me when I was little, maybe they thought, oh, poor little Silvia, left alone, so little, without a mother. Who knows how she will grow up and what will become of her? And then I became this oddball here who does these things. I mean, really? They think that in some way I am trying to do something that has not been done before. Because each of us brings something unique.
Utopia. Discovering dreams that are reality.